Live from KSAT 12. The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
Yeah, the rain has arrived. South Texas finally feeling the effects of that tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico.
Bringing that much needed rain to our area. Let's get right to meteorologist Adam Caskey for the latest out there. Hey, Adam.
And this is good, healthy, soaking rain. This isn't just the quick splash and dash and really quick rain that then just drains off so fast. This is nice, good, soaking rain. This is just what we needed. And so often around here, rainfall comes at a cost, at the cost of severe thunderstorms. You know, when we get hail and high winds, that's not the case right now. We just have good soaking rain. This is all coming in from the Gulf of Mexico, pushing westward and westward. Now, embedded within this, we have some heavier pockets, and a heavier pocket currently is over the far south side. We go down near 1604 and I-37, and that's where we have around La Soya, some heavier rain indicated by the orange and red on the screen. And then up on the northeast side, basically between Schertz, Selma, and New Braunfels, right along I-35. This is a heavy batch of rain that's coming down right now. As for the actual rainfall rates, to see how much it would be if it rained for an hour at this pace, it'd be 1.14 inches over an hour. So it's a slower rain. When we get our heavier rain that we get with the biggest thunderstorms around here, that's usually 7 inches per hour. This is better, slower, soaking rain. I know those of you off to the west are still waiting on it. Your time will be coming. We'll talk about how much rain has fallen, how much more we can get, and another opportunity for more in just a bit.
Thank you, Adam. We'll check out traffic right now. Let's go to I-10 and Proban, just southeast of downtown. What looks like some car problems in the middle of a rainstorm. I-10 and Proban, you can see what looks like a pickup truck pulled off to the side there. No emergency vehicles are on the scene yet. Does seem as if traffic is slowing down around this, but it could be a trouble spot as people slow down to maybe gawk and see what's going on. But again, this is I-10 and Proban. No major traffic tie-ups right now, but certainly things are slowing down there.
A mother killed by her own son, according to police. And today we have learned that she was 37-year-old Luz Aurora Gonzalez. San Antonio police say her 16-year-old son shot and killed her yesterday.
Our John Paul Barajas back on the scene where he met with the victim's mother, who's also the suspect's grandmother. John Paul.
Steve, Myra, we're told it's a complicated family dynamic. We spoke to Luz Gonzalez's mother, who says she takes care of most of Gonzalez's kids and also had a protective order against her own daughter, but that she would still let her stay here from time to time, even though it was against the rules. As for what happened yesterday, the grandmother says it's hard for her to remember anything about the last 24 hours. According to SAPD, an argument started with Gonzalez and her son, which ended in the 16-year-old shooting Gonzalez in the back. For the family who was here at the time, they say they aren't sure what led the argument to escalate. As for Gonzalez's mom, she tells us her daughter wasn't perfect, but that she was proud of her and misses her.
She would take me to errands, HB. She would buy me little presents, little everything. She tried her best to be a good mom.
Tonight at 10, we'll hear more from Gonzalez's mother and daughter as they try to navigate this wide ranging of emotions as they have one loved one who is now dead and another behind bars. On the west side, John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
Yeah, John Paul, you can tell they're trying to make sense of it right now. We also want to remind you, if you or a loved one is experiencing a domestic violence situation, it does not have to continue. There is help out there. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you to a list of free resources where you can get the help you need.
A drive-by shooting and then a fatal crash. It's a tragic chain of events that killed 3 people late last night. This happened around 11:30 on West Martin Street, not far from Northwest 24th Street and South General McMullen. According to SAPD, someone inside a car shot several times at another car that had a man and woman inside. That's when the vehicle with the victims inside went off the road and hit and killed a man who was homeless. SAPD says the man and woman in that car also died. Right now, there was no description of the suspect vehicle the suspect or the vehicle that they were driving.
Cars that were already in need of repair now may be beyond saving. Someone vandalized or set fire to at least 7 cars in the parking lot of an AAMCO transmission shop, an auto repair business not far from Loop 410 and Jackson Keller Road. A camera at a nearby business actually captured the flames and smoke about 6 this morning. The burning cars created a spectacle for people who were nearby.
I saw this big old black smoke, and it was just big, it was huge, and then sparks started flying.
Investigators plan to look at surveillance video for clues about who caused all this damage. So far, they have not made any arrests.
A new surcharge for heavy water users, different watering hours, and a way to go after water wasters that are outside city limits. SAW says it's not seeing enough conservation during these drought conditions.
Yeah, it's proposing some new drought rules that are up for a San Antonio City Council vote tomorrow. City Hall reporter Garrett Berger tells us what you need to know.
As the San Antonio water system briefed council members about the proposed drought rule changes last week, there was little conversation and even less criticism. The only suggested change we heard was for even stricter rules for drip irrigation.
I would like my colleagues to consider the one time a week restriction when this comes back to us in about a week.
In all, the rules look likely to pass. So here are some of the big ones. First up, ditching municipal citations for water wasting violations. Currently, those can't touch water wasters in suburban cities. So SAWS will add the fine onto bills instead.
If they don't respond or choose not to, then 21 days after that violation notice, we'll put it to go on their next available bill.
And they're changing up their drought restrictions. The Edwards Aquifer Authority is at stage 4, which restricts how much permit holders like SAWS can pump out of the aquifer. But SAWS drought restrictions for its customers are only at stage 2, which means watering just once a week. That's partially because going to stage 3 and cutting that further would be a hassle for everyone.
Right now, that twice a month watering is pretty severe. It's a pretty onerous thing to have to do. The plants can survive it, but it's just difficult for people. So we've been reluctant to go there unless it's an emergency.
Instead of restricting everyone's ability to water their lawn, they just charge the heaviest users more after they hit a certain threshold. For residential users, that's about 20,000 gallons. After that, it's an additional $10 and change for every 1,000 gallons.
We'd be really trying to help everybody stay under that and save some more water in July, probably in August too.
The new rules are coming when San Antonio's already looking down the barrel of another hot summer. A UTSA professor tells us 4 of the last 5 years have had below average rainfall.
Last year, we get pretty close to stage 5, and now we are heading that way again this year.
We have a breakdown of all the proposed changes on KSAT.com. I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Today is Juneteenth, a day to celebrate freedom, diversity, and unity across the country. Those 3 pillars also being celebrated right here in San Antonio at the Second Baptist Church on East Commerce. Music vendors and more are on hand for everybody to come out to the church today. If you still want to take part in these festivities, you do have some more time. The Juneteenth celebration at Second Baptist ends at 8 o'clock tonight.
Did you know that Juneteenth actually a big deal in a small town across the border from Eagle Pass, about 2 hours southwest of Piedras Negras?
But why is that? In tonight's History Untold, Jesse DeGollado says it's not widely known, but it involves an interesting mixture of histories and cultures in the pursuit of freedom.
It's Juneteenth in Nacimiento Coahuila. Cowboys on their prized horses in a cabalgata. The trail ride kicks off what's really more like a family reunion, since most of those here are related.
But now it's just become a family reunion plus.
As more visitors learn about the tribe of the Negros Mascogos, the Black Seminoles. Forced out of Florida after the Indian Wars of the mid-1800s, many had to cross the Gulf of Mexico by boat, then up the Mississippi, joining other tribes on the infamous Trail of Tears to Oklahoma. Yet even there, slave catchers pursued Black Seminoles who'd never been enslaved.
Because, they were African as well as Native American.
That's why it said 700 Black Seminoles began a treacherous second Trail of Tears to Mexico, where slavery had been outlawed. Once there, the Mexican government allowed the seasoned Black Seminole Indian scouts to stay if they'd protect settlers against Indian raids.
But for payment, our ancestors asked for land. So that's how we got Nacimiento.
Named Nacimiento de los Negros to mark the birth of blacks in their new country. Known here as simply the 19th or El 19, it's believed El Día de los Negros began as a day of solidarity in the 1870s after the Negros Mascogos finally learned of the Emancipation Proclamation.
We are cheering that our brothers and sisters in Texas are finally free.
Not just in a symbolic sense, says Ohio State Assistant Professor Maria Hammock, since some Black Seminoles still had family in the U.S. Sadly, it's said, much of that history was buried with their ancestors, like those in the Black Seminole Scout Cemetery in Brackettville, just west of San Antonio.
Right, they didn't know why they were celebrating. They didn't even know why they were on that land.
Except now, with the opening of the Casa de la Cultura, perhaps future generations will come to know and never forget Los Negros Mascogos.
They came from strong, brave people, so they would rather die than be enslaved.
Jesse Degollado, KSAT 12 News.
They answer the question, how did someone die? But that's not always the big mystery. Sometimes it's who is that person?
Even if you have the cause and manner of death, even if you could provide closure to family, you don't even have the family to provide the closure to.
Coming up in a KSAT Explains, a one-on-one interview with the Chief Bexar County Medical Examiner and the Chief Investigator. We talk about some of the unknowns surrounding their work, including a giant challenge they face, identifying bodies when there are no real clues about who that person is. KSAT Explains, the unidentified, is coming up at 6:30.
And after the break, a look at the impact this tropical storm that we're experiencing is bringing to the Texas coast.
Yeah, they're dealing with a little bit more there. Let's take a look outside with live cam to check on us here locally. We are getting some good soaking rain. Finally here, meteorologist Adam Caskey will have another look at radar and talk about some future chances coming up. Around Texas, the heavy rains from this tropical storm not just impacting us here in San Antonio. Take a look at this video out of Galveston. You can see the high water, the strong winds there, people even making their way walking through that high water.
Yeah, about 4 this afternoon, Governor Greg Abbott issuing a disaster declaration for several counties along the coast. One man who lives in Galveston says he's not prepared for this type of weather.
It's definitely worse than I expected, or I'd have been gone, you know. So, I should have been more prepared. And, you know, it's not even a hurricane.
Now we move over to the Corpus Christi area. Look at this. People there also dealing with the strong winds and heavy rains.
ABC's Melissa Adon along Corpus Christi Beach with how this tropical weather is affecting this part of the coast.
We're tracking Tropical Storm Alberto from Corpus Christi, Texas. We're here along the coast. We have some mean waves, pretty big, coming in with this storm surge. That's going to be a big thing that they're anticipating really all throughout south coast of Texas. Of course, there's always that storm surge and then the issue for flooding. Out in the distance, you see that pier. We see someone walking over onto it right now. At a certain point, that pier also threatened to be taken by so many of these waves. The first named storm of the season. Of course, officials out here making sure that people are prepared, taking things seriously. So many people that we've chatted with are surprised how quickly things have deteriorated and how quickly that storm ended up forming. And you want to check out here. This is one of the marinas and the docks here along Corpus. It's flooded, all the storm surge pushing in. We see kind of a sailboat there on the side, barely one of these boats hanging on by one of their ropes. These are always those threats that we're watching during the storms, and that's why emergency officials out really throughout the entire coast of Texas urging folks to take this seriously, stay inside, and heed these warnings. Reporting from Corpus Christi, Texas, I'm Melissa Adon, ABC News.
So I was just looking at some weather reports down there, and they had maximum wind gusts of about 40 to 45 miles per hour. It's what they had, but it's the 1 to 3 foot storm surge from the onshore winds. All the wind has been blowing onshore for a couple of days.
It's the flooding.
And the flooding, because yes, they've had up to 6-7 inches of rain already, parts of the coastline. So runoff, rain, flooding, and then high tide came in earlier in the early afternoon, midday hours. Now the tide's going out, but the water levels are 1 to 3 feet above normal tide. because of all those factors, drainage in, surge with the tide, and of course the wind pushing some of the water onshore. Okay, let's get to our authority radar and check out what's happening out there. This is beautiful to see, isn't it? A lot of this is light in nature, some moderate showers indicated by the yellow and orange colors, but embedded within this, we have a couple of downpours here and there. One in particular right now on the southwest side of San Antonio, Lackland Air Force Base down toward Palo Alto College. You can see right along 410 all the way down to I-35. That's a moderate to heavy shower. This is quickly moving toward Alamo Ranch as well. That's headed off to the west. So a lot of this is just that very gentle pitter patter, but at times it'll intensify for a brief period of time. And you look upstream where all this is coming from, and you see more embedded downpours around Gonzales County, LaGrange area, Cuero, Yorktown, DeWitt County. You get the idea. This is all gradually spreading westward with the highest accumulation so far south and east of San Antonio, and that's also where it's been raining the longest. So let's look at our 24-hour rainfall accumulations. And these green areas are at least a half inch of rain. The blue is less than that. And because this is slow but steady, look in parts of San Antonio about 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch. You go farther to the east where it's been raining for longer, and we're talking a half inch to an inch estimated by Doppler radar. And we still have more hours of rain ahead of us. So let's get right to it and take a look at the bigger picture. And you see over the past 6 hours, that rain coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, and still some more showers along the coast that'll cycle their way inward. It's just the highest accumulations will be where some of the more persistent and heavier activity has been south of Highway 90 and south of San Antonio. This is all attached to and part of a broad tropical system, and that includes Tropical Storm Alberto in the southern Gulf of Mexico, Bay of Campeche. And you don't see the green rain around it because we don't have radars down there. Our radar coverage cuts off just south of Brownsville there. And you look at our futurecast, and this takes you through time, showing more steady rain, light to moderate in nature, up through about 2 a.m. Then most of it's along the Rio Grande. Tomorrow morning, still some damp roadways, but I don't expect much in terms of rain. By tomorrow afternoon, we'll squeeze in sunshine. That's going to destabilize our atmosphere and trigger these pop-up random downpours tomorrow afternoon. So if you're not satisfied with what you find in your rain gauge today, there's another opportunity for a few passing downpours throughout tomorrow afternoon. Don't pay close attention to the exact locations of those, just the mere fact that, hey, Futurecast, it's on board with that thinking. Because of that, sun will pop some of those downpours. It's going to be good to have that. All right, tomorrow we start the day at 75 degrees, 81 at noon, 87 for the high temperature. Not bad. Today the warmest was 82. Tomorrow 87. 87 Poteet, 86 in Bulverde. Tomorrow Seguin at 88 degrees. A stray shower on Friday, but generally a lot of sunshine Friday through the weekend. Back in the low to mid 90s by this weekend. 6:45, we're going to talk more about Alberto, the latest from the Hurricane Center, where it's going, and the storm surge at that 6:45.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thanks, Adam.
All right, how does the quarterback feel about the guys that are going to be protecting him?
Well, in particular, when it comes to the rookie class of the guys that are going to be protecting Dak Prescott, he's all about them. You know what I just realized right now? We are 5 weeks away from the Cowboys opening presser at training camp. How about that? It's right around the corner. Yes, Dak loves his O-line rookies, especially the guy out at left tackle. And the Davenport Wolves are busy conditioning coming up.
I think it'll be fun. It's anytime you've got competition and you've got a couple of guys who are capable of that being their job.
Dak is looking forward to the training camp battle for starting center in big board sports. The Dallas Cowboys still haven't signed Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb to contract extensions. And because of that, they backed themselves into a corner a bit because both the quarterback and wide receiver markets have exploded. Recent deals signed by Jags QB Trevor Lawrence and Vikings wide receiver Justin Jefferson are probably not what Jerry Jones wanted to see. Now, the boys are no stranger at taking their time signing Dak, and Dak doesn't seem to mind, saying he will always bet on himself. And he's also betting on the rookie offensive lineman and boys' first-round draft pick Tyler Guyton to succeed.
Yeah, this whole class, just how smart they are, them understanding the attention to details, following the old guys, asking questions, not being hesitant. A lot of times you get rookies come in, their eyes are down, this group walks around, head up, looking to engage in conversation, looking to learn, and Guyton, it starts with Guyton, honestly. Leader of that group, first pick, and he's done a great job, as the rest of them have, of coming in and having a great offseason to make sure that they hit training camp full speed.
And this week, Dak joined his tight ends, Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker, at the 3-day Tight End U, a premier offseason camp for NFL players. And this week, we stopped by Davenport High School, where the Wolves football team is holding morning conditioning drills, getting the Wolfpack ready to hunt for another deep run in the playoffs. Last season, they advanced at a Class 4A D1 state semis. And going into the 5th year of the football program, head coach J.D. Zimmerhansel shared success at Davenport is becoming contagious.
A state championship in volleyball, 1 game away state in football, 1 game away from state in soccer, all the great things we've done. It makes them hungry. Every year in summer strength and conditioning, we have more and more in attendance and more kids excited about it because they got a taste of it and they want to be part of being successful. So 3 weeks into our summer workouts, and man, our kids are just getting after it. And when somebody's not here, they're going and waking them up and giving them a ride up here, and it's contagious. Winning's contagious and working hard is contagious.
Staying in shape is one thing, but these Wolves are making sure to improve in multiple ways for their sports.
We're able to do skills with the kids as well. So our coaches are out here. We're doing football drills every day with them. Our volleyball coach is just in the gym doing volleyball drills with them. Our girls basketball coach. All of our coaches are able to spend 30, 45 minutes a day working skills with their team. And so, yeah, it's not just when the season starts. It goes year round, getting our kids prepared.
The Wolves will go hunt for their first win this coming season on August 30th when they host Veterans Memorial. Team USA put up another dominant U18 Women's America Cup effort in Colombia today, beating Mexico with ease. San Antonio's very own Ariana Robertson played 14 minutes and she scored 14 points and 7 for 10 shooting to go with 7 boards, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. The U.S. outshot Mexico 59-16%, and they had a scoring run of 23-0. The U.S. rolls 115-20, finishing up group play at 3-0. So the team advances to the tournament quarters as the top seed from Group B.
Yeah, I would hope if you beat somebody 115-20, you're going to be the top seed.
Absolutely. They are definitely the team to beat.
Yeah. Thanks, Larry.
Coming up next, KSAT explains the unidentified.
In this KSAT Explains, we're getting a rare look inside the Bexar County Medical Examiner's office. Sometimes finding out how a person died is the easy part.
Figuring out who that person is could be a whole lot harder. Today, we're talking with the Chief Medical Examiner and Chief Investigator about some of the mysteries surrounding what they do and unidentified remains.
You're the last physician that a patient's going to see.
Dr. Kimberly Molina deals with death, but that's not how she would describe this job.
I would say we actually do what we do for the living, which I think a lot of people don't understand.
The living, those left behind and left with questions.
But there are often questions about what happens here. What does it mean when someone dies and ends up in the care of the medical examiner's office?
The most common preconception that people have is that if someone comes to our office, if the death falls under our jurisdiction, they think immediately, oh, they think someone killed them, that it's a homicide, that all we do here are homicides. And we do homicides here, that is our jurisdiction. But our jurisdiction is actually any unnatural death. So car accidents, people who fall down and maybe hit their heads, or cases where we just don't know.
They may not be under doctor's care, may not have significant medical history.
Nicole Healy is chief investigator for the medical examiner's office.
Investigation section were the eyes and ears of the doctors, the actual forensic pathologists at the scenes.
She and her team respond to the scene of a death. Law enforcement may investigate if someone died as the result of a crime. She wants to know why they died.
It's number one, why did the person die, but then also, who are they?
Unfortunately, it does happen where cases take, weeks, months, even years for us to really figure out what happened.
Had they ever been fingerprinted? We'll run fingerprints. Or do you know who their dentist is? Yes, they were seen here.
We can take x-rays and see if they have sort of any implanted hardware, for instance, a pacemaker, or maybe they've had a hip replacement, and try to track people down that way. We can actually contact the manufacturer of these devices and ask them to assist us as to what hospital did you send this to? What date was it manufactured? What date was it implanted?
People sometimes will have tattoos that will say who they are, at least give us family members.
What happens if you hit a dead end, if none of those options work?
Currently working probably 20 active cases within the past 10 years.
20 people whose names the medical examiner's office does not know, but is still working to find out. So they turn to the internet.
On May 29th, 2021, the body of an unidentified man was discovered in the 8,900 block of Mission Road in San Antonio.
The medical examiner's office redesigned its website, highlighting those unidentified cases, sharing what is known about the person.
He was 5 foot 8 inches tall and weighed about 140 pounds. He had a tattoo on his upper left arm showing a flag, heart, and a ribbon.
This is another tool in our toolbox that we didn't have 20 years ago, right? 10 years ago. Now we have it, let's use it.
Each case includes a forensic sketch of what it's believed that person looked like.
These forensic artists are not necessarily looking at a face when they are drawing these sketches. They have to put together details that may not be there.
Absolutely. It's going to be case by case. Sometimes they could do a sketch. Sometimes they go into even more forensic artwork where they're just getting details, information, molds, and going from there.
It's those unidentified cases that so often stick with this team.
Even if you have the cause and manner of death, even if you could provide closure to family, you don't even have the family to provide the closure to.
An extraordinary effort to identify remains when 53 migrants died after being trapped in the back of a sweltering 18-wheeler. The medical examiner's office worked with consulates from Mexico, Honduras, and Guatemala to identify those who passed. And just a month before that, the horrific shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde. The Bexar County Medical Examiner's office again was tasked with responding in the aftermath of that tragedy. Doctors from other parts of the state were called in to help.
When people come into our care, there's not a choice, right? The families don't actually have a choice. There's some part of the mandate, the legal mandate, that has brought them into our care. We absolutely want to make sure that families understand that we are going to treat their loved ones with dignity, with respect. We're going to get the answers that they deserve.
Even if in some cases, it takes years.
This is someone's loved one, their son, their mother, their daughter. They have a name now. This is our day at the office. This is what we do. But each call, it's that family's worst day of their life.
I don't think we see the death all day. We see the living.
You can find information on the unidentified cases right now by going to bear.org/unidentified. That's where you can see those forensic sketches and any information on what is known about that person. We have that link and our story on our website. Just scan this QR code to take you straight to the KSAT Explains webpage. We'll be right back.
This week, 60 young musicians from the San Antonio area will perform for German audiences.
It is the first time since 2018 that the Youth Orchestra of San Antonio travels out of the U.S. on a tour. Players told our Patty Santos that it's more than the travel and the prestige. It's about building character.
Some were naturally born musicians.
I play violin. I've been playing since I was 6.
others discovered it later in life.
I've been playing the cello for 6 years.
But one thing they have in common, they work hard to find the perfect pitch and harmony.
I joined YOSA when I realized I had a really big interest in music and playing in orchestra. And so I wanted to expand my artistic ability.
Tyler Brown and Evelyn Lee are both touring Germany this week as part of the team of 60 youth orchestras of San Antonio members. In the past, YOSA has taken them to play for audiences like New York City and Austin, but their favorite audience is always at home.
I've probably loved playing at the Tobin Center the most. Yeah.
When young people play music together in a group, they learn about what happens when you work hard with other people.
YOSA music director Troy Peters says most of these kids don't want to or won't be going to a professional orchestra. But at YOSA, they build lifelong character.
They get better at asserting themselves and moving through life with determination and strength.
500 youth in San Antonio from 11 different schools earn a spot in the YOSA orchestra. But each summer, there are 3 weeks of summer camps available to those who want to give it a shot. Students say, while it's not easy, it's not impossible.
Just go 100% and try your best, and everyone here will support you.
We got a lot of talent around here.
Yeah, I did not, realize that a lot of those kids wouldn't go on to perform beyond YOSA.
No, but they'll have a lifelong skill for sure.
It's good to know so. All right, live look outside right now, 73. We'll take this for 642 and the rain.
And you got Myra to cringe.
I
Boom.
did. I got an eye roll there.
Winning right there. Eye roll from Myra. Not side eye, but eye roll. Side eye is different. You've really made it when you got side eye. All right, so look at the rain. It's pretty steady here, but it's going to be steady for a few more hours. There will be some breaks coming later on tonight, but I think that's going to be closer to midnight and thereafter. But some embedded pockets of moderate rain. We're going to talk more about this, how much more rain we could get, and look at the latest with the tropical storm Alberto in just a bit.
Some good, much-needed rain for us today, but where's this moving and how long is it going to hang out, Adam?
Yeah, we're going to have it into the night. It's going to taper off after midnight and especially 2 a.m. locally. And then we have another opportunity tomorrow afternoon. We're going to get into that moment. I want to share with you the tropical satellite imagery. We do have Tropical Storm Alberto, barely a tropical storm. I mean, just qualifying, just barely. But the moisture spreads northward all the way up into our neck of the woods, which is nice. And it's good for us to get some of the moisture. I mean, maximum winds with Alberto, 40 miles per hour, right? Barely a tropical storm. Getting up to about 45 miles per hour later tonight before landfall in the east coast of Mexico. And you look at the computer plots, and I like this because you always have the rogue computer models. Look at this one that just, hey, I tell you what, let's just be different and go far north right up into Texas. That's not going to be the case. It's just fun to show you that and illustrate what goes on. So looking at authority radar right now, not a lot of lightning out there. This is just quiet, gentle, soaking rain with some moderate to heavy rain embedded within it. And I know those of you west of San Antonio, you've been waiting. Keep patient. Be patient. It's all moving westward, and it'll continue to do so. And once it's over with by at least 2 a.m. here in San Antonio, it's still going to be raining along the Rio Grande and locations west of town. But this is where it's all coming in from the east off the Gulf of Mexico, the yellow and red indicating some of those embedded downpours within the activity that we have. So, for example, it's downpour near Seguin. It's moving into Seguin as we speak. These are moving pretty quickly off to the west-northwest. This one is headed to the northwest. That's going to be in the Garden Ridge area by 7:22 p.m. They'll continue to cycle through. We could get another 1 to 2 inches on top of what we've already received, and even higher amounts farther south. Dimmitt, LaSalle, McMullen, Live Oak, B counties, even higher accumulations. Now, this is important. Look at our rain chances. Tonight, still at 70% through 9, 10 o'clock, then falling off. Tomorrow morning for the commute, it's going to be dry. But then tomorrow afternoon, we'll see sunshine mixed with pop-up downpours. think of the tropics, think of tropical air. You know, it's sunny and warm, and then whoop, quick downpour passes through, gets sunny again, whoop, quick downpour passes through. Some of that whoop tomorrow is what we'll have. Looking at the futurecast, it's on board with that. As we have that shield of rain moving westward, and by midnight to 2 a.m., it's pretty much over with locally, but still raining along the Rio Grande. The key is, tomorrow afternoon, we get some sunshine, and that destabilizes our atmosphere and the tropical nature. It's not going to take much destabilization to generate and pop up some of these downpours tomorrow afternoon. So we'll say about 40 to 50% coverage across the KSAT 12 viewing area tomorrow afternoon. And you go on KSAT Connect, and we've got some photos out there, and submit your rain gauge photos, by the way, as well. I love to see those. 75 in the morning, just a 20% chance of rain at 7 a.m. By noon, we're up to 81 and only 87, the high temperature today. We maxed out at 82 degrees. Notice that 40% chance again tomorrow afternoon and evening. Don't cancel your plans. These probably won't even have a lot of lightning and thunder, just a little bit. Just wait them out, and then you can get back outside. 87 tomorrow in Hondo, Comfort 84, Canyon Lake 85 degrees. Friday, can't rule out a brief shower or two at 20%, but generally a lot of sunshine Friday into the weekend, and low 90s. Notice the heat high, it's not over us. Low to mid 90s for highs going forward.
Yeah, we'll take that. Thanks, Adam.
We're going to talk about a special flight coming up in the bus. A hero flight. This morning, 26 black veterans landed in D.C. for an honor flight celebrating black service members on Juneteenth. They visited the World War II Memorial, the Korea War Veterans Memorial, Vietnam Veterans Memorial, as well as other landmarks. They include a 101-year-old veteran, 4 women, and veterans honored with a Bronze Star and 3 Purple Hearts.
This is the first Juneteenth trip by the Honor Flight Network. That program, which has been around since 2005, flies veterans to Washington, D.C. free of charge to honor their service. Since then, it's taken nearly 300,000 veterans on those trips.
This is just the reception they got at the airport.
Yes.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. It's valuable information. We want you to stick around. KSAT 12 airing a special right after the newscast, and it has to do with Social Security. AARP is airing and helping us air this special. It's something that will affect every single American.
Yeah, Stephanie is here to explain.
Okay, so I'm really excited about this. So we here at KSAT and AARP, we hosted a discussion about Social Security and how to keep it solvent. People who depend on this program may lose 17% of their benefits if Congress does nothing to bring more money into that program. So in a few minutes, you're going to hear from experts about what's at stake for you, your family, and also what you can do to protect Social Security.
Pretty much we must face the fact that we're going to have some benefit cuts. I mean, if we just cut benefits, it's almost a 20% cut to make Social Security solvent. That sounds ridiculous. If it's just raising taxes, we're going to raise taxes by about 25%.
It's really an uncomfortable conversation because we're going to have to make sacrifices, but that's a preview. And now chances are either you receive Social Security benefits now or you will in the future. Your parents, your grandparents rely on the program. So it's a really important discussion that we want you to stick around for.
And you can watch it right where you are. You can also scan this QR code to check that out live or watch it after it airs tonight, starting in just a few minutes.
We'll see you tonight on the Night Beat.